Hello Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another work mode workout. And for those of you who watch these videos every day, the vlogs, please remember to click like down below. We have to offset the dislikes. It will be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much if you do that, and it won't take any time out of your day. I just hate to only see thousands of likes and get 20 likes on this. Right up front, I wanted to measure the bands. Right, I'm trying to measure the bands close to where I'm squatting at. And I didn't do it till after I hit my PR. And I wanted to do that for a little bit of transparency, because number one, people are like, well, we don't believe you what the bands are. And I actually measure all my bands with a digital scale like this for my pulls, but I haven't measured any of them for the reverse band stuff. So I actually didn't know, and I didn't want to psych myself up in any way and interfere with me finding my true max by knowing exactly what the bands were at the bottom. I just went by the advertised weight, which has been generally consistent. And they were within a pound of that, right? So each of those blues is a 25 and the red is a 15. So that's basically 40 pounds per side of weight being taken off at the bottom. So for those curious, when we say 80 pounds of reverse band, what does that mean? That means that 80 pounds of the weight is removed at the bottom. So I pretty much have the full weight at the lockout, because you guys notice those bands flap a little bit. There's no real tension. So I have the full weight sitting on my back, but it quickly unloads, and when I get to the bottom, it's taking 80 pounds of weight off. So basically, if you have 500 on the bar, it's roughly 500 at the lockout and 420 at the bottom. Now, is that exact? No. No, but it's real close. It's real close. Now, some people are saying, well, what's up with the random thing? I'll explain more of that later. A lot of it has to do if I'm going to do higher frequency on this. I'm doing what a lot of guys do. A lot of coaches, they don't tell their lifters what variation they're doing. They don't tell them until they start training. And I've noticed it lowers stress. Because I definitely saw that the other day when I missed that 605 lockout. I was having trouble sleeping that night, and I was thinking about that deadlift because I knew I was going to try it. I was thinking about it at 1 in the morning. That is not good for your training. And this is one of the benefits of avoiding your exact classic lifts and doing these close enough variations, is that we lose the lifts that we have a psychological or an emotional attachment to. Okay, that's exactly what happens. Also, I knew deep on some level it was going to end up being a reverse band of some type today, because I worked in several types that do not have a box. About half of my squats don't have a box on the chart. You guys have seen it on my social media. I've shown you guys the chart. So that's why you guys know, you can see that number from the generator hit that. I haven't hit, since February, I haven't touched anything over 400 pounds on any sort of squat without a box. So I knew I needed to start working them back in, because I've done exclusively box squatting. We've seen 500 plus pound box squats, right? So we need to start working other types in. I need to get all variations in. But I had some apprehension there too, and I realized, hey, this is a great way to work them in on my randomness, and I'm going to have to just do these things with different lifts. And again, I didn't want to know what the band tension was exactly. I just knew it would be roughly the 80 pounds until after, because I wanted to come in and just do my best. And I wanted to just hit whatever my max was. And it ended up being 565 here. Now, some people will look at this and go, Jason, that looks pretty fast. It looks fast, but I can tell you it didn't feel fast. This was my max. And I can tell you that my lower back felt extremely fatigued. The lower part of my thoracic erectors, really down to the base of the rib cage. My erectors, my hips, my quads. I felt a lot of quad. I didn't feel any quad until I got to this weight. Like the 545, I didn't feel any quad. This one I did. And I felt a lot of hip and a lot of erector. So I realized I'm going to have to work on some of that, because that's what we do with this stuff. We hit these maxes and then we work on hypertrophy. So for all purposes, this is, if people want to use that silly term, power building, this is power building. We max and then do volume. Max and then volume. I can tell you though, trying to do squats or deadlifts, even the easiest to recover from variations, which are box squats and sumo deadlifts, after a max right now is hard. Really hard. These two sets of 10, this is only 322, and I'm on a 12-inch box, which you guys can see is below parallel for me. 322 for two sets of 10 after hitting a max. This was hard. Now, if I was fresh, I could probably crank out 5 sets of 10 on this. But after that max, mm-mm. And I noticed as I did these, my hips and my quads were lit at the end of the first set. So these are definitely hitting my quads hard in spite of that wider stance and being box squat. My hips, all those areas, they need a lot of work. Plus my lower back started getting a little crampy at this point. And I realized I can't do good mornings today. So what I'm also going to need to do is add more ab work in. I haven't been doing ab work for a bit because I'm doing 100 chins every day, and that is every single day. I've actually had people say I'm lying about that too, so I'm probably going to have to just film myself doing like 120 of them in one day or something. I don't know. It just shocks me. I'm the most transparent person on the entire internet with their training. Actually, weigh my bands for you guys. Spent thousands of dollars on calibrated plates. I film every workout. There is nobody, and I mean nobody, more transparent than me with their training. I've never seen anybody even close. So when people say that, it's ridiculous, because I always end up proving the stuff. People say, you're lying with this or that. How often do I just prove it? All the time. With the calibrated plates or with training, and it's just like, at a certain point, it's like, you guys have to quit with the silliness. You really do. It gets stupid, because I just show you that you're wrong. So, come on. And you guys have seen me do easily 30 chin-ups inside of multiple GBP sessions. It shouldn't be a stretch that I do 100. Also, look at my back. You don't see me do any lat work on camera anymore yet. Look at my lats. Okay, I'm obviously doing something for my lats. It actually makes perfect sense. I actually do what I say I do. But it's allowing me not have to do lat work in the middle of my other work. But I can tell you those box squats were tough. And I realized my back was so fatigued, good mornings were out. So I'm like, well, let's work on what we know weak points are. We know that lockout was missed on that 605 1-inch block pull the other day, right? We know that was missed. Now, some people say, I think your grip was partially to blame. I agree. And my ability to follow through at the top, I need more hamstring. And we should do some follow-through exercises. And since bands and chains on the deadlifts are only going to come in occasionally when the random thing gives them to us, we do need to continue to work on things like the glute bridges. This will help you lock. We need to work on hamstrings, so hamstrings will be a high priority. Now, I know that my erectors and abs need work today based on how that stuff felt, but good mornings were out today. I did them 2 days ago. Did 5 sets of 10. I'll work some more in later this week, but I just felt like my lower back, I don't think it could have handled them today. So this was a good substitute, and it works one of my other weak points. And I think glute bridges are going to end up being a staple. I'll probably do them one day every week. On days when I feel like I can't handle good mornings, the glute bridges will come in. 5 by 10 with about as much weight as I can handle, and this was challenging. Like, that squat took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me, so this was actually hard. Like, people are like, well, you could have gone heavier on this. No, I really couldn't. Every one of these were pretty much a limit set. Like, this set of 10 on each one was all I could take. I needed 3 or 4 minutes between every set. This is not take a minute and a half. Because I was tired. So we got the work done, though. Came in, got it done. And so it's going to be good mornings. It's going to be glute bridges. It's going to be glute ham raises. Glute ham raises and good mornings are going to be major, though. Like, this can be a filler because it does address one of my weak links, and we'll just come in and work hard at it. But I'm going to do variations of good mornings. I'm going to start eventually using bands and other stuff on the glute ham raise as I get stronger. Those have to be high priorities because I know they'll address my weaknesses. So the other thing that gets brought up with this, people are like, well, how do we know what weight you're lifting with these variations? That's kind of the point. I don't have to worry about what my classic lifts are down to the pound either right now because it's not relevant. Eventually, when we get to a point to where, let's just be honest. If we get to a point to where I'm hitting over 500 pounds on 10 different squat variations in the rotation consistently, and I'm deadlifting 600 or more on 10 different deadlift variations, we know where my strength is at that point. Okay. We know where it's at. When you're hitting those numbers consistently on 10 different variations, we can ballpark somebody's strength pretty well at that point. But it lets me avoid overuse injuries. It lets me max out on a variety of stuff that just becomes fun because I don't know until I start warming up what I'm going to do. And I run over to the number generator so that I figure out where to set my safeties and what bar to put on there. And we just roll with it. And I'm going to be true to it because it's fun. It's different. It lets me make sure I get a wide variation, and it means I can't prepare for each variation each time. I have to just come in and do it. But it makes it no stress because you just do whatever the lift is. And it doesn't matter. A max is a max, and that's what people forget. Maxing out like this is just about learning to max and finding your weaknesses. All this other stuff is what makes you stronger. This is what builds strength. Maxes just teach you how to display strength. They teach you how to find your leverages. They teach you where your weak points are. But you build your weak points with this stuff. 5x10 glute bridges. 5 sets of 10 on glute ham raises. Right there, that's working weak points. Even trying to do sets of 10 on box squats after, even though I only got 2 of them, that's a pretty cumulative training effect. When you think about the quality reps after hitting the max, and if you're doing it frequently, it's not like I'm only doing that one day a week. But I'll build work capacity back up on those. My work capacity is really high. That's why it's a good time to do this. I've done a lot of Metcon, good amount of conditioning. I've got the work capacity to train this way. I've got the recovery to train this way for now. So it's going to end up being a lot of weekly volume, because someone might look at this and say, well, there's only 10 work sets of supplemental lifts. Yeah, but these are hard supplemental lifts. Box squats, glute bridges, glute ham raises. For sets of 10, that's a lot of work. And it would be one thing if you're doing it once a week, but this isn't once a week. But I am fatigued after that max. That took a lot out of me. And even then, these with body weight right now are challenging enough at 5 sets of 10. When I do them last, is that going to be good enough forever? No. I'm going to keep building, keep building, keep building. Eventually, we're going to start adding bands and stuff, right? We're going to add resistance. And I need to get strong at these. But I've got to really get used to doing large volumes of them in one go, because that's what builds size. We've got to build up the hamstrings. I have to build hamstrings, hips, glutes, and then quads is, obviously important too. But my quads are pretty big at this point. And I feel like the squatting and stuff alone is enough for them. I need to get everything else caught up. So we got to build everything. We build everything. So hopefully people understand kind of what I'm doing here. A lot of people won't. And if you don't, that's okay. We'll explain it better. Just follow along and enjoy it. Enjoy the ride, guys. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.